I honestly never thought I'd be sharing this, but I need to get it off my chest. Looking back, I probably could have handled things differently, but honestly, I'm still not sure if I was completely wrong. I'm Avery, 28, and I've been married to Marcus, 37, for 3 years now. We met when I started my marketing job at his tech company. Yeah, I know how that sounds, but it wasn't like that. I wasn't some intern. I had my degree and was actually good at my job. He wasn't even my direct boss, we just happened to work on some projects together. The thing about Marcus is that he's really smart, like annoyingly smart sometimes. He built his company from scratch, and everyone at work practically worships him. When we first started dating, I loved that about him. It made me feel special, you know? Like, out of all the women throwing themselves at him, he chose me. But lately, things have been different. He's been obsessed with respect and recognition at home. Like the other day, I was telling him about this amazing promotion I got. I'm now heading the entire digital marketing department, and instead of being excited for me, he got all weird about how I never acknowledge his achievements anymore. I mean, what achievements? The company's doing fine, sure, but it's been running smoothly for years. It's not like he invented something new. I'm the one actually climbing the corporate ladder, dealing with office politics, and making a name for myself. But apparently, I need to throw him a parade every time he makes a business decision. Don't get me wrong, I love Marcus. He's stable, reliable, and unlike my exes, he actually has his life together. But sometimes I feel like he's stuck in this old-school mentality where the wife is supposed to be this cheerleader for her husband 24/7. Like, hello? It's 2025, and I have my own career to worry about. Last week, during dinner with our friends Kai and Madison, Marcus was talking about some new project at work. I might have rolled my eyes a bit. He always does this thing where he tries to sound super impressive at dinner parties. So I joked about how he practices these speeches in the mirror, which he totally does, by the way. Everyone laughed, but Marcus got really quiet. Later that night, he said I undermined him in front of our friends. Can you believe that? I was just trying to make the conversation less boring. He went on this whole thing about how I never take him seriously anymore, and how I've changed since we got married. Maybe I have changed. When we first met, I was fresh out of college and everything he did seemed amazing. Now I see him for who he is, a regular guy who happened to get lucky with his startup. Don't get me wrong, he's successful, but he's not exactly Elon Musk. The weird thing is, ever since that dinner, he's been acting different. He's quieter, more distant. He used to tell me everything about his day, but now he just gives me these short answers and spends more time in his home office. This morning, he didn't even kiss me goodbye before leaving for work, which he's done every single day since we got married. Part of me feels like I should apologize, but for what? Being honest? Having my own opinions? It's not my fault if his ego can't handle a little teasing. Besides, if anyone should be apologizing, it's him for making me feel guilty about my success. Last night I tried to talk to him about it, but he just said he needed space to think. What does that even mean? Men always say they want strong, independent women, but the moment we actually show independence, they can't handle it. I'm starting to wonder if he's hiding something. He's been taking more calls in private, and yesterday I saw him having lunch with some woman I've never seen before. When I asked him about it, he said it was work-related, but wouldn't give me details. That's not like him at all. Something's definitely up, and I'm getting worried. Not that I'd ever tell him that, he'd probably just turn it around and make it about his precious respect again. But I can't shake this feeling that things are about to change, and not in a good way. So remember how I said things were about to change? Yeah, I had no idea just how much. Yesterday started like any other day. I was getting ready for a big presentation when Marcus texted me saying he wanted to have lunch together. That was actually kind of sweet. We hadn't done lunch together in weeks. I suggested that new Thai place downtown, but he insisted on meeting at home. Whatever, I figured he was trying to apologize for being so moody lately. When I got home, Marcus was sitting at our kitchen table with this weird look on his face. No food in sight. Just him and a stack of papers. I immediately knew something was up, but I wasn't prepared for what came next. Turns out that woman I saw him with? She wasn't just some random work contact, she was a business consultant. Marcus is stepping down as CEO of his company, just walking away from everything he built. He said he's transitioning to an advisory role while he figures out what he really wants to do with his life. I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. Like, was this some kind of joke? The company is doing better than ever, and he's just going to throw it all away because what? I didn't stroke his ego enough? I told him he was being ridiculous and needed to get over whatever midlife crisis this was. That's when he got really quiet, that scary kind of quiet, and said, "This is exactly why I'm doing this. You don't respect me, Avery. You haven't for a long time. Every decision I make, every achievement, every concern I have, you dismiss it all. You laugh at me, and I'm done feeling this way in my own marriage." I tried to explain that he was overreacting, that this was insane. We built a life around his success, our house, our lifestyle, our future plans. He can't just change everything because his feelings got hurt. But he wouldn't listen. He just sat there, completely calm, telling me he'd already discussed it with the board, and they've approved his transition plan. "What about our plans?" I asked him. "What about the vacation house we were going to buy? The family we were going to start?" He just shook his head and said he doesn't want to bring children into a marriage without mutual respect. I started crying then, like, ugly crying. I told him this wasn't fair, that he was punishing me for being successful, for having my own opinions. He said this had nothing to do with my success. According to him, I stopped seeing him as a partner and started seeing him as competition. He said every time he shares something he's proud of, I find a way to one-up him or tear it down. "Remember when I finally closed the Anderson deal last month?" he asked. "You didn't even look up from your phone? But when you landed your new client, I took you out to celebrate, hired a photographer, posted about it on social media. Everything to make you feel special." I wanted to argue, but thinking back, he wasn't exactly wrong. I've been so focused on proving myself, on showing everyone I'm not just the CEO's wife, that maybe I did stop celebrating his wins. But that's different from disrespecting him, isn't it? He's giving me time to process, but he's already moved into the guest room. This morning I found him making coffee at 5 a.m., getting ready for a meeting about his transition. He looked peaceful, happier than I've seen him in months. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here wondering how everything fell apart so fast. The worst part, I called Madison to vent, and she hesitated before saying maybe Marcus had a point. She brought up other times I'd apparently dismissed, moments I don't even remember. According to her, at that dinner party, nobody was actually laughing with me, they were just uncomfortable. Was I really that blind? Now I'm stuck in this weird limbo. My husband is basically dismantling his life because I laughed at him, but it feels bigger than that. It feels like everything I thought I knew about our marriage was wrong. And the craziest part? A small voice in my head keeps saying he might be right. It's been 2 weeks since Marcus dropped his bombshell, and everything feels surreal. You know that feeling when you're watching a movie about your life, but it's like someone replaced the main character with a stranger? That's how I feel every time I look at my husband now. The company announced his strategic transition yesterday. The official press release made it sound so planned, so professional. Reading it felt like a punch to the gut, because that's when it really hit me. He's actually doing this. He's walking away from everything, and I played a part in making that happen. The worst part? People at work keep coming up to me, asking if I'm okay, giving me these pitying looks. They probably think Marcus is having some sort of breakdown. I want to scream that he's fine. I'm the one who's falling apart. But instead, I just smile and say we're both excited about his new direction. Last night, I couldn't sleep and ended up going through our old photos. There's this one from 3 years ago, right after we got married. Marcus had just closed this massive deal. I actually remember that day clearly now. He was so excited he could barely sit still during dinner. He kept talking about how it would change everything for the company, and I just kept checking my work emails. I didn't even look at him. The thing is, I found other photos too. Ones where he's at my product launches, my award ceremonies, always standing right behind me, always smiling, always proud. There's even a video from my promotion party where he's giving this touching speech about my accomplishments. And you can see me in the background rolling my eyes because I thought he was being extra. I tried talking to my mom about it. She just said, "Honey, men need respect, like women need love." I almost hung up on her. It sounded like something from a 1950s marriage manual. But later, I couldn't stop thinking about it. When was the last time I made Marcus feel loved or respected or anything other than tolerated? The company's stock took a hit when the announcement went public. Marcus spent hours on calls, reassuring investors and explaining his succession plan. I overheard him in his office, sounding more confident and decisive than he has in months. When he finished, I brought him some coffee, something I used to do all the time when we first got married. He looked surprised, then gave me this small, sad smile that broke my heart. I tried to start a conversation, to maybe apologize, but all that came out was, "The board must be furious." He just shrugged and said, "Some things are more important than stock prices." Then he went back to his laptop, leaving me standing there like an idiot. Madison suggested couples therapy, but Marcus said he needs to figure things out on his own first. He's been reading these self-help books and going to the gym at weird hours. Sometimes I hear him on the phone, talking and laughing with someone, probably that consultant woman. I hate how jealous that makes me feel, especially since I'm the one who pushed him away. The thing that keeps me up at night isn't even the change in our lifestyle or what people might think. It's the realization that I had someone who celebrated every tiny win in my life, who supported every crazy dream I had, who looked at me like I hung the moon, and I treated him like he was nothing special. I got so caught up in proving I wasn't just the CEO's wife that I forgot to be a wife at all. Yesterday, I found a notebook in his home office. I know I shouldn't have looked, but I couldn't help it. It was full of plans. Not business plans, but life plans. Things like learn to paint and travel to Japan and volunteer at the youth center. Normal things that normal people want to do. At the bottom of one page, he'd written, "Find myself again." That's when I realized this isn't just about me. Maybe it never was. It's been 3 months now. I'm sitting in my kitchen trying to figure out how to put this all into words. Marcus moved out last week. Not to some bachelor pad or fancy condo like I expected. He got a small house near the youth center where he started volunteering. It has a garden. Marcus never cared about gardens before. The day he moved out, he left me a letter. Not divorce papers like I'd been dreading, but an actual handwritten letter. He wrote about how much he loved me, still loves me, but that somewhere along the way, we both lost ourselves. Him and his company, me and my need to prove myself. He said he hopes we can both find our way back, whether that's to each other or just to who we really are. I didn't cry when I read it. I think I'm all out of tears at this point. Instead, I did something I haven't done in years. I started writing in my old journal. Looking back at my entries from when we first met, I barely recognized that girl. She was so excited about life, about love, about Marcus. Somewhere along the way, I replaced all that with ambition and competition. Work is different. I'm still good at my job, still climbing that ladder, but it feels hollow now. The other day I landed this huge account, the kind of win I would have rubbed in Marcus's face before. Instead, I just sat in my office after everyone left, staring at the celebration champagne they'd brought me, wondering what I'm really celebrating anymore. The funny thing is, Marcus's company is doing better than ever. His replacement, a woman named Sarah Chen, is brilliant. She's implementing all these innovations. Marcus had apparently been planning for years, but held back on because he was too caught up in the day-to-day grind. When they announced her appointment, Marcus looked genuinely happy. I was the one who felt lost. Last week, I ran into him at that Thai place downtown, the one he never wanted to try before. He was having lunch with a group from the youth center, teaching them about business basics or something. He looked different. Lighter. He's let his hair grow out a bit, dresses more casually. When he saw me, he smiled, not that sad smile I'd gotten used to, but a real one. We ended up getting coffee afterward. It was awkward at first, But then he started telling me about this kid he's mentoring, and his whole face lit up. I found myself really listening, not just waiting for my turn to talk or thinking about how to one-up his story. He asked about my work too, and for the first time in forever, I didn't feel like I had to prove anything. I just told him the truth. That I'm successful, but not sure if it's making me happy. Before we left, he mentioned he started therapy. Said he's working through some childhood stuff about never feeling good enough, always needing to achieve more. It made me think about my own issues, how desperately I've been trying to show everyone I'm more than just someone's wife, even when nobody was actually seeing me that way except myself. I don't know what's going to happen with us. Marcus says he needs more time, and surprisingly, I do too. I've started therapy as well. My therapist says you can't build a healthy relationship until you have a healthy relationship with yourself. It sounds like something from a cheesy self-help book, but maybe those books are onto something. Yesterday, I drove by his new house. He was out in that garden of his, teaching some teenagers how to plant tomatoes. I didn't stop, but I did something I haven't done in a long time. I felt proud of him. Not because of his status, or his money, or his success, but because he had the courage to choose happiness over everything else. I used to think respect meant admiring someone's achievements. Now I'm learning it's about honoring who they are, not just what they do. I laughed when Marcus said he wanted to be respected, and I lost the best thing in my life. But maybe, just maybe, we both needed to lose each other to find ourselves again.